Personal goals are for personal. Professional goals are where I want my business to be. A lot of people who are listening right now are business owners, and they don't realize that they can achieve what they want if they write it down and if they speak it out loud to themselves. I know some people who print out their goals, and I do print out mine. They laminate the goals and they put it in the shower. And they read them while in the shower every day, and they call it shower power.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Workergenics Mastermind. We have a special guest today, Bart Greenberger with Perception is Reality Business Coaching. He's going to talk to us about some really important topics for small business owners who don't have their sales and revenue where they want it to be, or they find themselves spending too much time in their business and not enough time working on their business. I'm sure many of us can relate to that. Thanks for joining us today, Bart.
Thanks for having me, Harley. I'm doing fantastic today.
Tell us a little bit about what got you started with doing business coaching.
I spent 28 years selling media. First radio station in St. Louis, and then television in St. Louis. I got into management, and then I found myself back in sales almost the last 10 years at a TV station in the Champaign, Illinois area. We were a dominant number one. And it allowed me not only to sell television, but what ended up happening is I'd go into businesses, and I'm a big believer in a servant mentality when I was in sales, and I would help my clients. And Zig Ziglar once said, the best way to get what you want is to help others get what you want. I'm probably paraphrasing a little bit. And I found that when I was able to help my advertisers get what they want, they got a lot, I got a lot. They started sharing more and more about things that a typical TV sales rep wasn't being shared. Profits, revenues, their costs. All of a sudden, I started getting more and more business acumen, and I didn't even realize it. About 5 years ago, I started coaching somebody out of Youngstown, Ohio. About 3 years ago, I started coaching one of my clients in the Champaign, Illinois area, and that's when it kind of blossomed. So my wife and I moved about 18 months ago to the Chattanooga area, and I put out the shingle. And fortunately, the business coaching side of the business has grown tremendously in the last 18 months, 2 years.
That's an incredible story. I love that mentality of having that servant, spirit of service. So you're able to better serve your clients, and it comes back in tenfold. So you're going to talk today about a couple of topics that I think people would find very interesting. One of them maybe is one that they haven't thought of a whole lot in their business, and that's wearing name tags. And I see you've got yours on today. That's awesome. And then the other one you wanted to share about was goal setting. That's something that's so important with running a business. So maybe you can talk about what is important about name tags.
Yeah, and I will start with the name tags. It's something I do wear 5 days a week, sometimes even 7 days a week. And I'll go into the why in just a second. But to say that I wear it every day, my joke is I even wear it to bed because I don't want my wife forgetting who she's sleeping next to. My wife didn't find that joke funny at all. But the thinking behind it is when I see somebody, not the first time, but I see somebody the second, the third, the fourth time, I want them to remember who I am. I want them to remember Perception is Reality Business Coaching. Let me give you a specific example. I'm going back now to my days when I did sell television advertising. And let's say I walk into a business owner and they own, it doesn't matter what their store is selling. Could be books, could be anything retail. They are getting salespeople left and right, whether it's advertising and media, whether it's credit card sales, whether it's insurance. They're seeing people all the time. I would walk in, I'd introduce myself, and I would walk in with nothing but my cell phone. No information, no nothing. And I'd walk in, ask some questions. I'd say, I'd like to come back and take 3 minutes of your time. I worked at the time for Channel 3, and I'd ask for 3 minutes of their time because everybody else was asking for 15 or 20. I'd set up an appointment if they would allow me to. I come back, I have an appointment with them. I walk in, they know me. Let's pretend I'm not wearing the name tag now. They know me. I look familiar. It was a week ago. They can't quite remember my name. Maybe they don't remember what company I'm with. In this case, it was the TV station. And now they're trying to remember who I am. Their heart rate maybe elevates a little bit. Their blood pressure increases. Maybe they start to sweat. And without a name tag, I have inadvertently put that business owner in a negative state of mind. Now change that up, Harley. And let's say that I walk in with a name tag. Let's say they didn't particularly care for me a week ago, or I caught them on a bad day and they just have a negative memory of me. But I walk in with a name tag and they immediately know who I am. They know what company I'm with, and they know why I'm there. So whatever blood pressure they were when I walked in, it stays the same. Their heart rate doesn't go up because I can't remember my name. We've all been in that situation where we saw somebody out of context. We knew them. Oh, what's her name? What company does he work for? And all we're doing now is we're thinking about that, and they're not paying attention to, hey, you told me that your daughter had a softball game or your son had a band competition. How'd that go? And I'm trying to make small talk, and all they're thinking about is, who am I? So the simple act of buying a $15 or $20 name tag and wearing it everywhere you go, whether you're in your own office and people are coming to you or you're going out. I do a lot of networking. Harley, you and I met at a networking event. You do a lot of networking. When I'm out and about, they're going to remember my name and they're going to remember my company. Now, they may not need business coaching ever, but they still remember who I am. They see me and they go, oh yeah, that's the guy who blah, blah, blah. Simply by investing $15 or $20 in yourself, you are going to become more known in your community. And it doesn't matter what community, and it doesn't matter what business or industry you're in. If you network, if you deal with clients, you should wear a name tag. I'll give you another example. Let's just say I'm a business, and I'm just going to use financial advisor as an example. Could be insurance agent, could be anything. And I'm sitting at my desk and my clients come to me. They know my name. But what if in the moment of their quote unquote stress, you're not wearing a name tag. I'm sitting across from you. I know you. I set up an appointment and all of a sudden I have a complete brain cramp on your name. I'm 53 years old. It happens all the time with me, but I have learned over the years it happens to everybody. Yeah. It happens to everybody in the most inopportune times. So if I have a name tag and they remember my name, they can just very casually look down. They see my name, and now they're no longer in a negative state because they introduced themselves to me 20 minutes ago, and now they forgot my name. That doesn't happen. A name tag should be fun. My business happens to be Perception is Reality Business Coaching. It's a very long name with a last name like Greenberger. I normally don't put my last name on there because I named my business the way it did. Aesthetically, I wanted it to look better. But what most people should do is have fun with their name tag. And I'm not going to go into this in a great detail other than to say the next name tag I create is probably going to say, ask me about my Guinness World Record. Or it's going to say, ask me about Vanilla Ice. Because two of the more interesting things that I have been able to accomplish in my life were I danced on stage for over an hour with Vanilla Ice in Decatur, Illinois in 2015. And I happen to be officially a Guinness World Record holder. Me and 9 other people played the longest game of wiffle ball in history. The record has since been broken, doesn't matter. But the point is talk about neat icebreaker when I'm at a networking event, and all I have to do is put that on my name tag. So have fun with your name tag.
With the icebreaker, or would you just have the icebreaker on there?
I would have my name because I still want people to remember who I am at all times. People like to, Harley, you notice I keep saying your name. Many people who are self-employed or who are salespeople know to use the person's name that they're talking to. It makes everybody feel more comfortable. If I just put Bart on my name tag, they know who I am, they know my business. And then again, for networking purposes, I would do something fun. So anybody who's listening or watching out there, if you're insurance, if you're in financial services, if you're in any industry, have fun with your name tag with just a few words. You will get people to talk to you, But more importantly, you will get people to remember you. And that's when we go networking, that's what it's all about, is how do we get people to remember us in a positive light?
I was some people that are more visual, having a conversation, they can hear your name, but it's maybe a lot easier to read it for them, regardless of, all the other amazing benefits you share. It's just a matter of how people's brains work too. Seeing something visually could help keep that in their head.
And I'm glad you said that, because I did forget to say it. Not only am I saying my name, but then they are reading it. So it's a couple of different senses of the brain that are remembering it. Great point, Harley.
We talked about, making sure your name is on it, making sure it's clear, and then having something that is going to be an icebreaker, those two key things. What about like design or colors? Do you have any advice on that, or is really those two things most important?
Color is not as important. I can go back to my selling of advertising days. Motion, believe it or not, motion is the number one way to get people's attention. Now, as I do this on the video, for those of you that are watching on video, you see that I'm just moving my hand, my thumb up and down as if I were talking motion with my hand. And Harley, I think you can agree it's very annoying. For those of you that are not on the video, that is exactly what I was doing. And I did it to prove a point, is even though Harley was trying really hard to pay attention to what I was saying, the brain cannot stop looking at the motion of my hand. And it's annoying, so I'll stop. If you can put motion on a name tag, and they do make those, yeah, you can do that, and that's going to get attention. But otherwise, number one is motion. Number two is size and shape. The third most important way to get the brain's attention is color, sight, and sound round out the top five. That was a study done in the 70s by Evelyn Wood Reading Dynamics, and they were doing that, and they learned that motion is the number one way. But because color is number three, even more important than sight, Harley, to your point, is yes, color matters. A lot of people will tell you don't use red. And now I'm talking specifically in an outdoor advertising billboard, in a magazine ad, even on a TV commercial. And I tell people, wrong. Red has a connotation of stop or danger, but in the brain's eyes, red is seen more often even than the blue I'm wearing today. Now, it just so happens my company's colors are blue and yellow. I did that intentionally for other reasons. So on my name tag, I have blue and yellow on it. But you should just use your company logo and your company colors on your name tag, because that helps brand you with your company. And you want people to remember you and your company.
Do you have any tips on sizing? Bigger gets more attention. Is there kind of a limit to that, though, of what's really the ideal to maintain that professional look, but still being easy to read and, memorable?
Great question. And the answer is my name tag is the exact size of a business card. Yes, that's intentional. A lot of name tags are a little bit narrower, same width and narrower. I can't get enough information on those narrow ones. When I first went to a business card size, I was made fun of by everybody in my office. This was at a TV station in Champaign. And yet everybody started going to the larger business size, or the larger name tag size, because it's seen. I wouldn't go too much larger than a typical business card, but I also would not go smaller than that either, because you just can't say enough, especially if you're going to do one line of an icebreaker of having fun. It could be the insurance guru, your financial services expert, growing your money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say, and it's based on your industry. But the smaller the name tag, you make it more difficult for people to read it from a little bit further away. The larger it is, people can see it even if they're not standing right next to you.
Awesome. Those are some great tips for name tag. What is the importance of goal setting for business owners?
When I do my coaching, the very first session we do is I sit down with my clients and I ask them about their goals. A lot of people have talked about goals before, and goals are wonderful. I take it to another level, and I have to start with, in 1997, I listened to the book Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins. Still a big fan of his, and it truly changed my life. Now, I have since taken what he said about goals, and then I've read some more here and some more there, and I've adapted it. the first thing I teach is that people should write down 3 personal, 3 professional, 3 financial goals. The truth is when most people write a goal, it's an end goal. I'll give you an example. 2020, I turned 50. The day after I turned 50, I started losing my weight. And the goal read, I weighed 180 pounds by May 31st, 2021. The goal was written in past tense. We'll come back to that in just a second. And that was my end goal. This is where I want to be. My process goals was I walked the dog a minimum of 3 times a week for a minimum of 45 minutes a day every week. I chewed my food slower. I drank a gallon of water a day, and I ate 2 meals a day, no more than 50 carbs per day. Those 4 goals were my process goals. What was I willing to do? What was I committed to do in order to get to my end goal? What I listened to from Tony Robbins, I took some things that I read from other people and I made them into my own. The way it all starts is we are tricking our brain into getting exactly what we want. Not what somebody else wants for us, but we trick our brain into getting what we want. I always recommend for somebody to start with, and when I do a business coaching session, the very first session with these people, with my clients, are goals. Then we go into process goals. What are we going to do in order to get to that end goal? I was able to trick my brain into making things happen because I had the end goal. I knew exactly what I wanted, and then I had the process goals. I teach my clients to write every single goal in past tense. So when I read it out loud to myself at least once a day, yes, I am asking your viewers and your listeners to invest 90 seconds in their life every morning or every afternoon to read their own goals. When you write your goals in past tense, your brain hears it that it's already happened. So not only am I reading
people rewrite them on a daily basis, or is it effective enough to just reread them?
Well, I don't rewrite them every day. I have heard that trick, and that can be done. My goals are done every quarter. I have, in fact, sitting in front of me, my 3rd quarter goals. I have a copy here at my office, and I have a copy in my car. In case I forget, maybe my morning was busy or I have an early morning, I can look in my car and I can read it as well. I have heard people who rewrite their goals every day. Because I have about 20, 25 overall goals, that's a little too much for me to rewrite, but that does work. When I'm reading it and then I'm speaking them out loud every day, my brain knows exactly where I want to be. The personal goals can be whatever you want. I mentioned weight loss. Many, many years ago, I was biting my nails. I stopped biting my fingernails. I was in my 20s. I dedicated myself to that. It can be anything personal you want. It can be, I took a vacation to Bora Bora. Every goal has a by when date. A lot of people have heard of SMART goals. I'd love to give credit to whoever coined it. I don't know it. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic, and time bound. Time bound meaning by when. So if my goal is specific, measurable, I know it's achievable, I know it's realistic. If I said that I was going to weigh 180 by December 31st, meaning my goal started September 30th, that wasn't a realistic goal, or would not have been a realistic goal. So the goals do have to be realistic, and they have to align with our own ethics and morals. On the professional side, it's wide open. For me, when I was in the heart of my sales at a TV station, my goal was 18 touches every day. Now that's a lot, but I built up to it. It didn't start at 18. My original goal years before was I made 12 touches a day. A phone call, an email, a text. It could be a letter, or a drop-in. That didn't matter, but it was 12 touches, then it was 15 touches, and then it was 18 touches. I wrote that down in past tense, and I read it out loud to myself every single day. Personal goals are for personal. Professional goals or where I want my business to be. A lot of people who are listening right now are business owners, and they don't realize that they can achieve what they want if they write it down and if they speak it out loud to themselves. I know some people who print out their goals, and I do print out mine. They laminate the goals and they put it in the shower, and they read them while in the shower every day, and they call it shower power. And I absolutely love that. I don't do it for other reasons. However, what a great way to start every morning by reiterating the goals that your viewers and listeners want to achieve for themselves.
Now,
with
do you
goals,
have a recommended number of goals? So, we have the different categories. Is there kind of like an ideal number for each of those that you recommend, or is it just whatever you want to achieve, you put it down?
What I have found is that 3 to 4 end goals usually is enough. I've got a client who coincidentally I sat down with yesterday, who his end goals are about probably 15 or 20 between the 3 categories, but he has 3 pages of process goals. And every week we go over them. Now, he doesn't read every single process goal every single day, but every week when we sit down in our coaching session, that's what we're going over. And I help hold him accountable for those. With your goals are helping you to be held accountable. Oh yeah, I said that I wanted 18 touches every day. Well, shoot, yesterday I only did 13. I need to step up my game. I don't recommend starting with 18 touches, but you get the idea. When it comes to, so there is not a set number of goals, but sometimes too many, you can't focus in doing all of them. On the financial goals are where each person wants to be. Maybe it's an income. Maybe it's a spending less. Maybe it's saving money for a vacation. I have one client who's saving money to buy a house. Your end goals are going to be your own. Your process goals are all going to be to help you get to your end goal.
Now, do you ever run into a situation where someone's like, hey, I know where I want to be. I've got the high level goals, but I have no idea how to get there. I couldn't tell you what process goals to get there because I'm not there, obviously. I'm struggling with X, Y, or Z. And if I knew how to solve it, I probably would have solved it already. How do you kind of bridge that disconnect there?
And that is a great question. That's when they need to sit down with somebody, candidly, somebody like me, but it can be a lot of people. Business owners have free avenues such as SCORE. Many Chamber of Commerce's partner with organizations that will do that kind of thing for free. For example, when I lived in Champaign, we were right there at the University of Illinois, and the University of Illinois actually has a small business program. These people will to figure out what their goals are. And it's what I do every day of my life.
That's awesome. So if you are struggling, speaking to the viewers here, if you're struggling with goals and needing help with that bridge, I highly recommend getting in touch with Bart. Bart is actually have a special offer for everybody. Bart, you want to share what your offer is for everybody that wants to get in touch?
I will. The first 5 people that reach out, and I know Harley's going to give my contact information, but I'll throw it out there. My website, the name of the company is Perception is Reality Business Coaching. The website is very simple, www.PIR, stands for Perception is Reality, PIR Biz, B-I-Z, PIRbiz.com. You can go to my website. You can fill out a contact form. I do need an email address and a cell phone, but the first 5 people that reach out, I will give a free 1-hour coaching session to those 5 people. You can also reach out my cell phone and you can call or text me. It's a 217 area code, which is Central Illinois, 217-597-1357. The first 5 people that email me or call me or text, reach out to me. The first 5 will get a free hour, and we'll figure out over the next month or so when to get that scheduled. And I'll work with you on anything you want to be worked on.
Awesome. Well, Bart, thank you so much. You've shared some really great insights. The name tag was completely new to me, thinking about all those insights you shared, and I'm sure new to our viewers and can be very helpful for them, especially when they're getting out and doing that important networking, like how you and I got connected. And then the great tips on the goals. I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot more questions, and they'll be connecting with you soon to get their goals all in order and get those process goals in place so they can get where they want to be. So thank you again.
Harley, thank you for having me on. I look forward to hearing from your viewers.